Like and subscribe right now, or this spider will crawl in your face while you're sleeping.
Twins are amazing. Getting 2 bundles of joy when you plan for only one might just be one of the greatest joys of the universe. However, sometimes fate plays a cruel joke on us. Sometimes. Instead of giving 2 healthy children, we get 2 in the body of 1. These days, we call them Siamese or conjoined twins. The stories of twins born like this are sad because most times they don't live long. But there are some who have defied all odds to grow, to face the world with 2 heads and 1 body. And those remarkable and inspiring stories are what we will be looking at today. This is our definite top 10 list of the most unusual conjoined twins you'll ever see. Number 10. Lori and George Chappell. Born as Lori and Dori Schappell on September 18, 1961, the Chappell twins were born as conjoined twins, and they have proven to be really unusual ones. For one, Dori Schappell decided in 2007 that even though she was born a female, she would identify as a man. Thus, she changed her name to George. Or his name, rather. It gets confusing. What makes these conjoined twins special is the career of George. George worked as a country singer, which in itself wasn't a terrible profession, but how does one perform when one's twin is attached to one at the skull? It must at least be rather difficult. But George found a way around this. He decided that he would pay his sister Laurie for attending his shows and just standing there on the platform, doing nothing. Laurie agreed because, well, she's his biggest fan. He may be forgiven for thinking George wouldn't be a very successful musician, but he really was. He performed in Germany and Japan and even won an LA Music Award for Best New Country Act. What of separation? Well, Laurie and George may disagree on many things, but this is the one thing they agree on. They never want to get separated. Number 9. Miracle and Testimony Anais. The twins with perhaps the most appropriate names also get a shout out on the list. Miracle and Testimony were born in Enugu State, Nigeria, on November 16, 2015. They were born fused at the lower half of the body, and their parents, Samuel and Mary, immediately started looking for a way to separate the twins. Luckily for them, Linking Hands Foundation, LHF, a non-governmental organization focused on children's health, education, and values, took their case up. The NGO was able to champion the cause of the Anais and was able to give financial help to take the children abroad. With the aid of Linking Hands Foundation, the Anais were able to go abroad and take Miracle and Testimony to doctors who would perform the surgery to separate them. The 18 hours long surgery was eventually completed, and Miracle and Testimony were free of each other. Today, both babies are healthy, and their parents just couldn't be any happier. Number 8. Amelia and Allison Tucker. Most women know when they are going to give birth to conjoined twins. No, they do not just guess it. They know because they run a scan before giving birth. Amelia and Allison's mom knew that she was carrying conjoined twins before she was even put to bed, and she knows that if she wanted the twins to live a good and healthy life, she had to get them separated. Is that exactly what she did? Of course. It took a team of over 40 professionals and 7 hours of surgery, but it got done, and Amelia and Allison became separated. Number 7. Jaden and Anais McDonald. Jaden and Anais were born conjoined at the head. The top of their heads were joined together, and they shared a 5 by 7 centimeter of brain tissue. This, and the fact that any separation would have to be made at the head level, meant that the operation to operate them would be grueling. But the parents of the twins knew that they had a difficult choice to make. Conjoined twins do not often live very long, and generally die before they grow out of infancy. It was either leave them and watch them deteriorate and die, or risk surgery and give them the best shot at living a healthy life. Their mother chooses the latter. The operation took almost 30 hours, but it was done. Unfortunately, Anais suffered some level of brain damage, but generally speaking, both children have a shot at living normal lives, given the particular circumstances at their birth. Number 6. Ronnie and Donnie Galen. No list would be complete without the incredible and significantly long story of Ronnie and Donnie Galen, the longest living conjoined twins in human history. From the point Ronnie and Donnie were born, living for long looked like something that was not in their destiny. That's the reason why you almost never see a conjoined twin walking about. An overwhelming majority of them never survive infancy, and those who do almost never survive adolescence. That's why the story of Ronnie and Donnie is so incredible. Even though they were conjoined at the stomach and shared only the lower digestive system, there was still no guarantee that they would live long lives. But at the ripe old age of 68, Ronnie and Donnie are the longest living conjoined twins. They've lived all of that 68 years facing one another. Imagine that. Number 5. Layla and Laylan. To save you from any heartbreaks at the end of the end, I would suffice to make a disclaimer right now. Layla and Laylan are no longer alive. They died as a result of the surgery. What surgery? I'm glad you asked. Layden and Layla were born as conjoined twins into a poor family of 11 children in southern Iran. They were born conjoined at the head. This means that the girls did not have any hope of living separate lives. Doctors had thought that they would soon die after birth, but they didn't. They soldiered on. They were adopted by Alireza Safayan, a physician from Tehran. They had a fairly decent childhood for children conjoined at the head, but there was one problem. Layden and Layla were very different people and had different personalities, but since they were conjoined at the head, they had to make a lot of compromises. These compromises ranged from the time they worked to what courses they would study. While they eventually studied law at the university, they only did so because Layden wanted to. Layla wanted to be a journalist. In the end, the two twins decided to separate. They were warned that the surgery would likely end in death, but they didn't care. They wanted to be separated at all costs. They were eventually flown out to Singapore where the surgery was to hold. The operation to separate them lasted for 3 days, but unfortunately, they died after losing a lot of blood. Number 4. Aaron and Abby Delaney. Aaron and Abby are twin girls that were born with a sad misfortune. They were conjoined at the head. But the story of Aaron and Abby wasn't as terrible as it could have been. They were only joined at the skull, not the brain. This meant that doctors would find it possible to separate them, but it would still come with a significant level of risks. While it was good news that the twins were not conjoined in the brain, the fact that they were joined at the top of their heads made the surgery very complex. What made the case also difficult was the fact that even though the children were not joined at the brain, they still shared a vein. And that vein was extremely important. It was the superior sagittal sinus. That paints a picture of how difficult this separation operation would be. It took over a month of careful work, but the doctors at the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia were able to separate Aaron and Abby. Did they live happily ever after? It took a while, but both children were eventually discharged from the hospital. When doctors checked up on both children a year after the surgery, they found that they were doing amazing. So yes, Aaron and Abby are still living happily ever after. Long may it last. Number 3. Abby and Brittany Hensel. This is the story of one of the most popular conjoined twins in the world. It's likely that you've seen them, and it's likely that you must have heard of them. What makes their case so unusual is the fact that they've lived for so long and they essentially have two heads in one body. They are unique even for conjoined twins because they, generally speaking, make the phrase two-headed human being sound plausible. They have 2 arms and 2 legs, and as expected, they have a very wide midsection to accommodate the 2 bodies. They pretty much share everything except a spine, a stomach, and lungs. Essentially, they are what you would create if you wanted to create the perfect conjoined twins. Despite their situation, Abby and Brittany have made a great deal out of their lives. Their lives have been covered in a lot of magazines like the Life magazine, and they've been interviewed on the Oprah Winfrey Show. They even had their own series, the Abby and Brittany Show on TLC in 2012. Our best pick for today was sent in to us by a subscriber. If you ever come across a picture online and would like to know its origins, you can send it right to us. Who knows, you may even get to feature it in a future video. Number 2. Savannah and Shivam Sahu. These two are conjoined twins that were born in a remote village in India. Each twin has 2 arms, but unfortunately, they have to balance this on only 2 legs. They are conjoined at the waist and have to crawl in a coordinated manner to get about. They share just about everything except lungs, heart, and brains. They even have the same stomach. But that's not what makes Savannah and Shivam special. What really makes them special is the fact that they turned down the opportunity to get separated. When they were approached by a team of 4 doctors who were willing to carry out the operation for free, they said they preferred to stay together.
I saved the best for last, but first, I have a quick challenge that takes only 5 seconds to complete. If you can leave a like and subscribe within the next 5 seconds, you'll get 10 years of amazing luck. Just try it, it really works.
Number 1. Clarence and Karl Aguirre. When Clarence and Karl were born, the doctors had one message for their mother. Choose who will have to live because we cannot save both. Their mother told the doctors that they are dreaming, and she wouldn't be forced to choose which of her sons to live. For the most part, she was right. She brought the children over to the United States and she didn't have to choose. The Children's Hospital of Montefiore took over the case, and the children were successfully separated. The process was a long and arduous one that took over 9 months and 4 surgeries to complete. But at last, it came to an end, and their mother didn't have to choose which child to live or die. Afterwards, their mom began throwing 2 birthday parties for the boys each year. The first celebrates the day they were born, and the second for the day that they got separated. That's a bit for today. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video and make sure to subscribe to the channel. We have lots more videos like this for you. Bye bye, and remember to have an amazing day.